Rumor has it that a game released 5 years ago, Horizon Zero Dawn, is going to get either a remake or remaster from Sony's PlayStation brand in the near future. Let's dive into this story. I have some thoughts, probably not as negative as you think. Let's dive in. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like my content, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. I'm recording this very late. I saw this evening, and I wanted to talk about it right away, so we're going to dive in right now. So basically, here's how I came upon this. I saw Wario64 say, rumor Horizon Zero Dawn remaster, remake, and multiplayer game is in development. Horizon Zero Dawn Remake Remaster is said to feature improved lighting, textures, animations, models, and accessibility options. Multiplayer game for the PlayStation 5 and PC may feature a form of co-op. He continued on saying VGC is also corroborating with their own sources on the Horizon Zero Dawn rumor. So before I actually read the story, I didn't read it before watching this, so we'll be sort of reacting to the full context story in just a second. But if you're reacting to this and you feel negative, but you also purchased The Last of Us Part 1, why would Sony not keep doing that? If you purchased any definitive edition of a game, which is what I think this is likely going to be, why would Sony not stop doing that? The way that you choose to spend your money in the market is directly going to have an effect on what Sony chooses to invest in. So I don't really blame Sony for doing this. Let's dive into the full context story, and then I'll talk about the tweets that I sent out about this, because yeah, of course they're going to do it. They're making a ton of money releasing definitive editions of games, remakes, and remasters of games. So of course they'll do it. Of course they will. And can you really fault them when their fan base or just people are looking for the game anyway? I can't. Anyway, diving right in, here's the story. It's from videogameschronicle.com. A Horizon Zero Dawn remaster is in the works for PlayStation 5. It's been claimed. Sources claim an update of the 2017 game is in development, along with a multiplayer spin-off. Multiplayers could be interesting. Anyway, Sony Interactive Entertainment is planning to release a remaster of the PS4 title Horizon Zero Dawn for PlayStation 5. That's according to a report by, I don't know who this is, MP First. MP First, which VGC can corroborate via their own sources. An updated version of the 2017 Guerrilla Games title will feature improved visuals and bring it up to par with this year's sequel, Horizon Forbidden West, in the form of new character models, lighting, and animations, it's claimed. In addition, it's claimed the new version of Zero Dawn will add accessibility features, graphics modes, and quality of life improvements to the gameplay itself. VGC has asked SIE for comment on this story. Re-releases of recent games that kind of go on to talk about it. In addition, the MP First report claims that Guerrilla Games is currently working on a Horizon multiplayer game for PlayStation 5 and PC, which matches what VGC reported last year. VG understands that the studio has long intended to expand the Horizon series into the multiplayer space. Sources had previously told us that co-op was the first planned for the original Horizon game, but ultimately scrapped so the development team could focus on other areas of the title. Zero Dawn concept art that leaked online in 2014, verified by VGC, even shows initial plans to have multiple players battle the game's huge mechanical beasts in a scenario similar to Capcom's Monster Hunter games. Sources said that Sony had been keen to include co-op in the game's sequel, Forbidden West, but Guerrilla decided to save the feature for a future project, which they believe would either be a standalone online or spin-off game. And that's basically the long and the short of it. So it sounds like this is either a remake or a remaster. I don't know if they use both terminologies in the article, but if you go over to Multiplayer First, that is the source, and they are saying remake, remaster in the work for PlayStation 5 Horizon multiplayer game in development. So it sounds like one of these websites are playing an ad. Sorry. So this one is playing an ad. All right, let's mute the site. So it sounds like this could actually be a thing. Now, my reaction to it was initially, Everyone paid for the other $70 remaster. Why not do it again? I'm very excited for the pro $70 remake crowd. Congrats. Like, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be excited about this. The main concern that I have is that doing this several times over, which Sony has seemingly been doing, is delaying other remakes and remasters that fans like myself really want. Infamous, I would love. I would love to see Killzone worked on again. I would love to see what's another one. The original Uncharted game could definitely use a remaster. It would have to be a remaster. No, remake. It would have to be a remake. Sorry, I got to get the terms correct. And I think that's the consensus from a lot of people. But do I fault Sony for doing this? No, not really. Now, there is seemingly a pattern emerging. And thinking on this, I wonder if a cycle is forming. Release a game, release it on PC with new features, re-release the game on PlayStation 5 with those new PC features and call it a definitive edition. Maybe you find a way to upsell that product, like add multiplayer, and then so you add the PC features and you have this other thing that you've been developing and you can kind of release it at the same time and call it the definitive edition and get that $70 buy-in from a new customer or the upgrade cost for an existing customer. And then later on, when it's widely celebrated, and most Sony games are, you can release a remake. Now, we've seen something like that with Death Stranding. So for Death Stranding, we saw the game release. It had the free upgrades for PlayStation 5, but then they did the definitive edition, which added a whole bunch of features, and they re-released the game, basically. Now, they haven't done a remake of that one yet, but I think you all know the remake I'm talking about is The Last of Us Part 1. So could it be that this is a formula that Sony is adopting? Potentially. And honestly, I tweeted, is it bad that I kind of get it? These games are great and their fans will buy the same game 3 to 4 times, or better yet, they get a whole new audience on PC. Why would they not do it? And I have a bunch of responses here I haven't read. I'm sure they're all really great. But yeah, so as a fan, and a lot of people sort of talked about this, I am a little bit concerned about the idea that this would make like a Sly Cooper HD release, which last I remember was on PlayStation 3, wouldn't be prioritized for at least making the PS4 version released on PS5, or anything else that's first party. Just not getting the attention that I would hope it would, and that I'm sure many fans would. There's that rumored Infamous remake that could come out as an example. Let's also talk about some of the reactions to this. So I just kind of went into that tweet and went to the top reactions, and damn, just play the original on PS5. It's 60 FPS anyway. This is dumb. My initial reaction was, yeah, this is pretty dumb because they have already released the game on PC. And they obviously, if you're playing on PC, you can just push the game as far as you want to. You can install mods on it and do all this cool stuff. But they haven't re-released it on PlayStation 5 yet. And if they are working on a multiplayer component, yeah, they're probably going to do that. And like I said at the beginning of the video, they see the sales numbers for these $70 remakes of games. They see the sales figures of these definitive editions, where many fans also want the $70 definitive edition of the game. And I saw in Young A's video the other day, or no, it was Donkey's video, where he referenced another YouTuber, SkillUp, who said, this is for a fan who wants the Blu-ray ultra rare edition of a game that they absolutely adore, right? So you hit that market, you hit the new market, and if it's working for Sony, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So do I love it? No, I don't love the idea of a game being released 4 times and PlayStation dipping into the well that many times. But at the same time, who am I to say anything if that's what customers are paying for? And Sony's like, wow, we can use the development resources. And a commenter sort of said this. Sony's like, so we can use like the development resources of 2 games, but we get 4 games out of the deal. I'm talking about like the resources that it would take to port it to PC and then to port it back to PlayStation 5. So they're being smart with the resources that they have, and they're able to charge their customers 4 times. And nobody pushed back. Well, people complained about the Last of Us Part 1 remake, but then everybody bought it. So it's just like, all right, like if you don't want these practices to take place, you can't spend money on them, but people are. So if it works, it works. So he says, damn, just play the original on PlayStation 5 at 60 FPS anyway. This is dumb. Libby Watson said, instead of remastering 5-year-old games from one console generation ago, why don't you focus on remastering your soul for Jesus Christ? I think it's a joke. I misread it originally, but I thought she was saying like, she was like upset, but it's actually just really funny. Anyway, Podcast Now says, you have got to be kidding me. Sly, Infamous, Resistance, Jack and Daxter. I missed that one. All of them are dead, but you'll maybe remake a game from 2017. And that just goes to show fans want these old games that PlayStation has left dormant. And yeah, I would love to see these return, but I bet they have the market data that says, well, we can invest time in that, or we can just re-release this game from 2017 that will clearly sell better. And we're releasing the multiplayer component soon, so let's find a way to upsell the multiplayer component and get more money from fans while offering them something in return. Tamura Hussein says, excited for the Ghost of Tsushima remake, which I can only assume is coming very soon based on this strategy. Half joking, but we are waiting on the Ghost of Tsushima PC release if the Nvidia leak is true at all. And the last one I pulled was from Tiger General. I'm glad that Sony is tackling the issues of backwards compatibility by remaking their games every 2 weeks and asking full price for them. And that's the rub, right? People are upset, I think, mainly because they would rather see Sony work on new IP because their games are excellent, or just invest their time differently. But if this is a money-making strategy, they don't have a ton of incentive to do that. They can do that in the background with the main developers, but I don't think they're generally being all that impacted by this strategy of putting all the time and effort into having a porting studio port these games. It makes them money. So my reaction to it is fairly indifferent, if I'm being totally honest. People want them. People are buying them. So Sony's going to keep making them. If you really hate this trend, you don't buy them. But enough people do, so it will continue. That's just reality. I don't know what else to say about it. It's not one that I'm particularly upset about, but it is sort of like, I do agree. I hope this doesn't impact other projects, and I hope that we're still able to get new interesting things as opposed to games with some bells and whistles, aka Blu-ray Ultra Edition of games, so to speak. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the matter. I'd really love to hear what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell if you like my content. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate my members too. Thank you so much to the members for letting me do this. I appreciate all of you. If you want to become a member, you can click that join button. It's probably right down there. The arrow comes on right about now. Thank you to all of the members who have supported this channel. I added the new ones on this episode, so if you're new, thanks for joining. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you for the next one. Want to hear your comments, though. Thanks, everybody. Bye.